Hello, Suns fans. This is Suns Latest. I am Rich Rubin. As of this recording, over 2,080 Suns subscribers to Suns Latest on Fan Arts. Thank you for subscribing and being part of Suns Latest Nation. Training camp opens in September. Preseason schedule is Monday, October 5th at Detroit, Wednesday, October 7th at the United Center in Chicago, Saturday, October 10th versus Spurs at Mortgage Matchup Center in Phoenix, Wednesday, October 14th at San Antonio, Friday, October 16th versus Utah, and we are back in Phoenix. I want to talk about the Pacific Division and a couple of experts who have the Suns going 42-40. That's from ESPN. 3 less wins than last year and finishing 8th in the West, and I don't buy it. ESPN has the Lakers at 45-37. The Lakers were a play-in team 3 times with LeBron, who just left. We split the season series last year, winning 3-2. The last game didn't even count because we weren't even trying. We pulled most of our starters. Marcus Smart, Rui Hachimura, Luke Kennard, DeAndre Ayton have been replaced. All those guys starters except for Kennard, replaced by Walker Kessler, Quentin Grimes, Colin Sexton, and a couple of other guys who I guess they're definitely younger, but not proven. Some may disagree about Kessler, as he's shown flashes of being a very good rim protector, but he's injured a lot, and he cannot run. Our centers can run. Our centers are mobile and athletic. Yes, they have Luka and Austin Reeves. Luka is Luka. You're not stopping Luka, but I saw it more than a few times. You don't have to stop Luka. You don't even have to contain him. Just guard the other 4 guys. Luka cannot beat you by himself. I saw Bradley Beal match Luka shot for shot in a game without Devin Booker, and the Suns won in Los Angeles 2 seasons ago. So, yes, there's no denying Luka's offensive firepower. Luka can't guard anybody. Austin Reeves is good and cannot play defense, and the Suns seem to have his number, and he cannot guard Devin Booker or Jalen Green. Do you think Luka will continue to cry after every single call that doesn't go his way, and will the refs care? They're at minimum the biggest question mark in the Pacific. Do you think that the Los Angeles Lakers will be better than the Suns? I do not, but I want to know what you think in the comments. We'll get to some other teams as the week goes on, and then let's get to your comments from most recent. I apologize for not doing an episode yesterday. I had some travel issues getting out of Sedona, Arizona. But I did see a wolf and got some kisses, and I'm not joking. I got to hug and I got licks from a young wolf. It was very strange, but it was really cool. Steve Postero says, "Hi Rich, I heard a comment about Tom Chambers in the last week or so, and I sure have some fond memories of his time with the Suns. I remember in 1990 when he scored 60 against the Sonics, his old team. My favorite memory is in the old madhouse during the early 90s. I went to the bathroom or to get a beverage in the middle of the floors, and going back to my seat, I glimpsed him around the offices. He was walking slowly. He was by himself, and his pace was off and on, like he was thinking about something important. He was in a suit, fancy shoes. No, nothing exciting to end the story, but isn't it odd the way some private memories can stay so vivid? Yeah, and he was 6'10", but walking by himself down that quiet, dark corridor, he looked even taller. Go Suns." I like memories like that, just like a chance happening to see a Suns player, not within the game, just kind of doing his own thing and around the madhouse. That's still kind of cool. Let's see. Well, his name is coming up a lot lately. There's ongoing debate that Tom Chambers should be in the Hall of Fame. He held the Suns record for single highest. Oh wait, I'm sorry. He held the single highest scoring average for one season, 27.2, until Devin Booker broke it with 27.8 in 2022. No one could guard Tom Chambers. He could play power and small forward. He wasn't a traditional power forward, but his offense was undeniable. When you're averaging close to 30 points a game, no one's stopping you. He and Antoine Jamison are the only players with 20,000 or more points not in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Does anybody out there think there's an argument that Tom Chambers should be in the Hall of Fame? I think it's still an argument. Boomer Bro says, "Suns are definitely winning more than half the season. If we are injury-free, why wouldn't we win more games than last year? Tell me why not." Mr. T says they're going on vacation to Cancun in June. All right. J.A. Cochise, I would take Maurice Lucas all day over Karl Malone. One had great class, the other had none at all. B-Dub says Karl Malone for sure deserves a lot of hate. Karl Malone was I think the most recent entry into the all-time all-hate team. What a trash person and lives he ruined. Couldn't stand him in Stockton and Utah, always being such a thorn in our side. Doug Drew says, "I put John Starks as my hate guy. I mix him up with Greg Anthony, the guy who came off the bench in the civilian close to cheap shot KJ in the Knicks Suns brawl in the 90s. I hated Greg Anthony for that." Well, it's interesting you bring up Greg Anthony because he is the next member of the all-time all-hate team. So far we've got, we'll get to it. But we are going to finish up the all-time all-hate team. There's so many players that deserve some hate, some deserve a lot. I'm pretty sure we covered them all. I feel we kind of got to the guys who were not only hateful, but who significantly took it to the Suns, who took it to our guys. So let's finish it off with fully realized punk Greg Anthony. Yeah, the very definition of a punk. I say that with no apologies. From his days at UNLV, all through his worthless NBA career to broadcasting, Greg Anthony was born with a chip on his shoulder, and it grew into a boulder. He is the Pat Beverly of his time. That is not a compliment. Cheap shot artist, loud, ignorant, and at best, a pedestrian player who had some decent hustle on the defensive side and offered absolutely nothing else. He genuinely thought he was good. And he was, for a minute, in college. As he fit the run and rebel mode and had the luck of playing with the best team in the country that could hide his flaws, he got very much exposed in the NBA. His stats aren't worth mentioning. A pest, an instigator who wasn't good enough to handle most players, and that is when he kicked and pushed and shoved and pinched and talked and talked and talked and did anything he could to stay on the court and get into someone's head. But he'll forever be known as the first player in history to be ejected and suspended during a game that he wasn't even playing in or dressed in. Suns guard KJ and the Knicks guard Doc River get into it in the Suns' home game in '93. Players from both teams joined in, but it was the inactive and sitting on the bench Greg Anthony wearing his grandma's favorite blouse who ran onto the floor and sucker punched KJ while he was being held by the Knicks' Bo Kimble. KJ went after Kimble, went after Anthony, and Knicks coach Pat Riley after he realized what was going on, and they all landed on the floor. KJ took out 3 guys, one who was holding him. KJ was a nice guy, but an underrated beast if you push him, and he proved it over and over again. Anthony was ejected and suspended for the rest of the season. This incident from such an inconsequential player is what made then-Commissioner David Stern set very strict rules about players on the bench leaving the bench during fights. Think about the term butterfly effect and how that screwed us up years later. Greg Anthony was arrested in 2015 for soliciting a prostitute during a sting operation. Following the arrest, he issued a public apology and was suspended by CBS Sports and Turner Sports. He later completed community service to have the charge dropped. Anthony had some insights as a basketball studio analyst, but didn't move the needle. Wasn't significant. And whenever a colleague, or especially a former player, was a guest commentator who was clearly better than him and who wasn't, had an issue with one of Greg Anthony's opinions or called out a boneheaded Anthony observation, no one was more unprofessional in their response. Greg Anthony, congratulations. You're definitely on the all-time all-hate team. Here's 2 quotes regarding Greg Anthony. Quote, he should be suspended for the rest of the year. How can some scrub come off the bench in street clothes and take a cheap shot? I said a good pick on Doc Rivers. He got flattened. I didn't try to hurt him. He chased me. You can live with all that. But I really want to know what the league office is going to do with this Greg Anthony guy, Kevin Johnson. And the other quote, I love the way Starks, Mason, and Rivers play, but Greg Anthony goes overboard. He's not that good a player either. Quote, end quote, Danny Ainge. I think it's a pretty appropriate way to end the all-time all-hate team. I think there's a lot of guys who deserve it, but I think the crew that we came up with together and all of your suggestions got it to Isaiah Thomas, Danny Ainge, Bill Laimbeer, Robert Horry, Ron Artest, Meta, Sandiford Artest, Draymond Green, Latrell Sprewell, Pat Beverly, Chris Paul, Rick Perry, Bruce Bowen, Karl Malone, and the last one, and definitely the least, Greg Anthony. Because, I mean, if you're going to be on all-time all-hate, at least be good. And I know some of you wanted Rodman on there or wanted some other guys on there. I don't... It kind of gets to that part where it's a guy getting into somebody's head or a guy playing really, really dirty. And as annoying as somebody like Dennis Rodman was, I just never saw him be a real dirty player. And I think even me back in the day, I think some of us might have gotten confused with incredible hustle and just getting into guys' heads. But I never felt or saw Rodman really try to hurt anybody. Maybe once or twice, but not against the Suns. And how do you hate Dennis Rodman? I understand why you do, but how do you? I'd like to know. I appreciate you watching Suns Latest on Fan Arch. We're still growing this thing, baby. I appreciate you watching. Go Suns.